Ashley Burke, CBC News. Ambassador Hillman, is a potential Harris administration lesser known to Canada than a Trump administration in terms of what it could do when it comes to issues like trade? And do you have any concerns about a potential Harris administration and what it could mean for Canada's interests?
Thanks very much. Well, I think that we are well informed about what we expect both candidates to bring in the areas that matter to us and our relationship. I think that candidate Harris, Vice President Harris, is unrolling the specifics of her platform, through the speeches that she is doing at the convention, but also all of the other speeches that she's doing around the country right now. And so we're gaining insight to that, but we also know a lot of the people that are working with her as policy advisors. So we're getting insight from them as to the directions that she is planning to go in. It's fairly transparent. I don't think that's that complicated. It's a lot of the similar positions that the Biden administration has had with her, but she'll put her own stamp on it, and I think that that's just something that we're watching carefully. I would like to say that we had a really robust discussion here yesterday with ministers. We had C.J. Mahoney here, who is the former Deputy Secretary of Trade under President Trump. And Steve Rahul is Canada's former chief trade negotiator, and we had a discussion with the ministers specifically around the question you asked, which is, let's talk about what we know about what a Harris administration would do on trade and economic policy. Let's talk about what we know a Trump administration would do on trade and economic policy. Where are they different? Where are they similar? Because there are things that are similar between their two positionings. But also, what is Congress saying? Because as folks may know, in the United States, Congress has the lawmaking power, which is separate from the administration, and there are nuanced and different views within both parties through congressional representatives. And those are the representatives that have the legislative authority to do a lot of the trade actions that both candidates are talking about. So it's important to understand where those guys are coming from as well. So we talked about all that. We talked about what it means for Canada and how to prepare. But to answer your question about concern, I don't think we have any reason to be concerned to be frank, either administration. I think that candidate Trump has some thoughts on global tariffs, which could be complicated for Canada, but I also think that the application of those to Canada will be very difficult for the United States. And so when we get into that discussion, if it ever comes about, if he is elected and we're in that discussion, I'm confident that we're going to make our way through that in a way that works for Canada.